This one. First one. Anyways, video 1. On YouTube. That I know of. It's quite possible there are other videos of me. I do go around dressed in tights, which are actually quite comfortable. But more about that later. No, so this is video number 1, and I'm doing this because a lot of people go around and say I can't do art because I don't have the money, I don't have the time, I don't have the skill, I don't have the space. Horseshoes. Horseshoes aside, the reason I'm doing this is because I don't believe that's a good excuse. Doesn't mean it's not an excuse to use, but it's not a good one. There are people driving. I probably shouldn't be doing this while walking, but I'm doing it while walking, and it's a terrible idea. Don't do it. Except for what I'm doing. But then you still shouldn't be doing it. Nor should I. Anyways, a lot of people say I can't do stuff because of various reasons. My particular one has always been smithing. I've wanted to do smithing since I knew what smithing was. Particularly bladesmithing. But the big problem has always been time, money, and space. I'm not particularly worried about skill, as I'll be learning as I go. That's how you do everything. Some people have natural skill and you just find out, hey, I can make a, I don't know, dinosaur. And some people have to work very hard at it. I honestly have no idea which I am. My metalworking, at least hot metalworking, is limited to one time when I was 13, 14, when I went to a forge in Israel and rounded off a metal rod. I've had some more experience with cold metal, but it limits what you can do and makes it very difficult to do sort of any metal work. I'm starting off at nothing. I've had to get all the materials for this. I'm going to be making a brake drum forge out of a brake drum, an old fence, some AC duct, and a hair dryer, hopefully. Still waiting on that hair dryer. Part of what I wanted to do was make one for free. I was not able to do that just because the cost of the time offset the cost of actually going and buying the stuff. Sounds crazy, but finding pipe is hard. And I've been trying to find a T, letters, T, not that, but a T-shaped piece of pipe and some pieces that can come out of that to make the air inflow and the ash chute. It is surprisingly hard to find, especially seeing as there is no easy place to go and get scrap metal that is where I'm around. I'm still looking. If I find one, I will definitely go and look and see if I can find one for free. I actually recently got some metal pipe which might work for it, and I might do a second brake drum forge later that was entirely free, but for now I'm just doing this one, which cost me a total of $40, and that was just for some AC ventilation to get the airflow the way I wanted it. I'm going to do a few shout outs to the people who helped me do this and inspired me. The big one is Bobby Duke. Some of you may have heard of him. I've wanted to do smithing for, I don't know, 12 years, more than that. But I've never really managed to get up that final motivation. I'm very good at wasting time and procrastinating. So I've sort of been putting this off for a few years. Really, I've been putting it off for about 5 years now. 4.5, 5 years. Because you can't legally metalwork in the States until you're 18. At least I think it's in the States. It might just be Texas. But Bobby Duke has some amazing videos, and just his very straightforward, random, and carefree approach to art really reminded me of me when I was a lot younger, and I've sort of been in a funk for the past few years. So, God, I feel that wind. He really inspired me to get started. I'll put a link down below. Some other people are My Mechanic, literally My Mechanic, not My Mechanic. I mean, he's also My Mechanic, but the name of the place is My Mechanic. It's very confusing, trust me. Trying to get a toe there is a nightmare. Anyways, My Mechanic, they provided the brake drums for free. I would have paid them if they had asked, but they were getting rid of I went in and asked if they had any brake drums, and they said yeah, they had just got into in the day I went in, actually, which was wonderful. But so I got 2 brake drums off them, and I got them for free. Who else? Mr. Z. For now, I'm just going to call him Mr. Z because I haven't talked to him about being in videos yet. But he's supplying the land where I'm going to be doing it. And that's a very hard thing to come by, because where I live, you are not allowed to have fires of the kind required to easily do metalwork. I could probably get away with a tin can forge, but it's not worth messing around with deed restrictions and things like that. You can get fined, you can get jail time and all sorts of things. So don't mess around with that. I'd also like to thank my parents. They actually supplied the money for the last few pieces I needed. They also got me some shiny new boots, which aren't too shiny. I don't know how well that showed up. I may need to go back and redo that. But these boots are amazing. I've had them for about a week now, and they are wonderful. I'm getting no foot pain. I had a few blisters getting adjusted to them, but now that I'm adjusted, it's wonderful. I mean, also just general food and clothing and all that stuff that they generally provide me with. Yeah, I think that's it. Oh no, but I've gone around and found most of the pieces I need. I'm waiting to hear on one thing, the hair dryer. If not, I might have to find a different air source for keeping the fire running. The legs are going to be made out of some old fence that I found a few years back and just kept. I did some cold metal work on it. It's not very good for cold metal work. It sort of just bends flat, and then as you use it over time, any edges you put on it will split apart, which really sucks. Yeah, I think that's more or less it. Depending on what I use, I'll either use the thin fence post, or I'll use some of the thicker stuff I found by the road 2-3 days ago. I don't know how I'm going to cut the stuff up. I don't have any metal saws. I have a semi-rusty jigsaw thingy-mabobber. And it'll be a pain to cut it. I also don't know how I'm going to put it together, because, again, at the moment I don't have a heat source until I've set this up, and it's a pain to do cold work. But I'll get around to that and show you. And yep, so I hope that this works out. Yeah, I'll show you or see you in the next video, where I'll be trying to wrap my head around making a brake drum forge with whatever garbage and scrap I could find to get it to work. Yeah, we'll see how this works. Have a good one.